We're on, are we?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What a way to start the show. We're on.
Is that how you want to start
Yeah,
it?
let's start
Mics
with that,
are on.
Charlie. Mike's alive,
Mike's
as
alive.
you always say. Raiders.
Yeah.
We've got to accept that. Well, I've got to accept that I was wrong. I'm not going to go we.
No, mate, it is we. I actually tipped him for the spoon as well.
Yeah.
The Sydney Milk Syndicate, which is an Instagram page for Canberra fans, has clipped up an Instagram reel of all the different people who tipped them for the spoon. You were in it, Jimmy, and then I was in the video as well.
Yeah.
They even included me.
We've made it.
We've made it.
Well, look, I guess a lot of people had them in the bottom 4 of the 17. And it's okay to admit we were wrong. I go back, and there's a few things I'd like to say. That was the Canberra Milk.
It's the Sydney Milk Syndicate.
Sydney
There must be
Milk
a Canberra fan page for Sydney fans based in Canberra.
I hope they back their team to win the minor premiership.
Yeah.
So that when I see evidence of that betting slip, that's also you're the genius. And look, I hate doing those pre-season predictions because
You got to do them though. You got to do them. It's a bit of fun.
Of course, it is a bit. I understand it, but it is arguably the most hated aspect or disliked aspect of the job that we do. That we've got to make our predictions, and really, we're not really most of the time you're not accountable. But because there is such a swing in where we thought the Raiders would be to where they actually are. You've got to hold your hands up and say, we got that right. Again, I'll go back to my decision-making process. This wasn't just a guess. The thought process was 2 seasons ago, Jack Whitehead, arguably their best player at the time, made a decision to leave for less money to come to Sydney to play for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And that was presented as he doesn't think he can win. Canberra are going to be playing finals, and let alone be in a position to be in the top 4 or potentially win the grand final in the first weekend of October. Then the following season, Jordan Rapana, Elliot Whitehead, who is retiring. Congratulations to Elliot. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. The bit of the heartbeat of the side. Obviously, they've got other leaders in Tarpany, Hudson Young, Papali'i as well. Those 2 players leaving, I know how important they were, coupled with a lot of young players in key positions that I think most would have said they're probably not ready to guide a side to a top 4 finish. And that was the reason they were where they were.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything you said there is valid. It's been an incredible year. Just on Jack Whitehead, would he even make their team anymore? Would he make their 17? Timoko, you're not picking him over Timoko in the centres. And then the other centre, Sebastian Chris, has done an incredible job all year. Would Whiten make their team based on how Whiten is playing now?
He goes well for Souths.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He does.
He's been injured and had issues this year, but...
Oh, Charlie, He's not in front of Strange.
No way.
So he's not playing 5'8".
God, no. Strange is Dalian 5'8" of the year.
Yeah.
He's got that pretty much. If he doesn't win that would be one of the biggest robberies ever. There's no one else who's come close to him.
Could he win Rookie of the Year? No,
he can't. He can't, unfortunately. That's probably going to go to between Robert Toya and Leka Halasima, you imagine.
The origin bias.
The origin bias could get it to Robert Toya. I'd give it to Leka Halasima personally. I think he's had...
If we're judging NRL season...
Which is what we are.
Which we should be.
Yeah.
We should be.
Yeah.
You go Halasima.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
But it's the origin. And this even probably leaks into a little bit about the the eligibility issue. That if players are going to be judged so much on their performances in state of origin, you've got to allow access for those players that want to represent Tonga, Samoa, and maybe potentially New Zealand and England. If they qualify, if they are eligible in terms of that 12th birthday or 13th birthday rule, that they can play state of origin because of the prestige and because of how people talk about the game. Izzy Katoa, another one, like where he is as a 21-year-old, where he could get to, the conversation will be, oh, well, he's not done it at origin, or he has done it at origin, and maybe potentially Tonga as well.
Yeah, they're both representing Tonga this off-season at the Pacific Championships, Halasina and Toy, which is great. But yeah, Canberra, like, they're going to have the easiest path out of everyone. It's not going to be an easy path, but I think the talk is Storm's not going to rest. So if Storm do play their full-strength team, we'll see if that's actually the case. It's just what Craig Bellamy said in his post-match press conference, that they're not going to rest. Jerome Hughes, we expect he could be back as well. I think Broncos lose that game.
Yeah.
In all likelihood. Sharks will play the Dogs, who I know Cameron Serrato sort of said they weren't going to rest, but it's not going to be a full-strength Bulldogs side. Sharks beat the Bulldogs, I think.
Okay.
So they're going to come fourth. So Canberra have a chance to play Cronulla to then have a home prelim where they'll then have probably the Bulldogs in the prelim.
Sorry, say that again. So it's
going to be 1v4. It's going to be Canberra against the Sharks.
Yeah,
that's how I think it's going to play out.
Think Canberra play Sharks? Yeah. So you imagine Canberra win.
Canberra will beat the Sharks,
and then they play
either.
They get the week off.
Yeah, they get the week off, and then they'll have the Warriors, the Panthers, or the Bulldogs, because the Storm will kill the Bulldogs in week 1 of finals. So, of those 3 teams, Jimmy, like Penrith, of course, but Penrith are going to come.
The Warriors are gone.
The Warriors are gone. So
and then they
Penrith
play
the Doggies.
The winner. So they'll play the
winner of Penrith Bulldogs.
They'll play the Panthers or the loser of Dogs and Storm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're going to
Canberra.
In Canberra. Yeah. Like, whichever side they play is going to be battered.
Battered. Absolutely battered.
Battered.
Yeah.
And that is why teams rest now. That's why teams rest now.
Yeah.
That's why Penrith rested now. So that shoves it up the arse of anybody that discredits or is disgruntled about Penrith, because look at that potential road. They may have to go to New Zealand, come back. They play the loser of the Dogs and Melbourne.
Which is going to be a defensive war.
Which is going to, look at some of those. Look at the games. Look at that game where the Dogs played Penrith. That was I felt tired watching that. That was exhausting.
Yeah, it
was.
Like,
your job as a commentator, people say, "Oh, it's great." That was intense. That was like edgy. You see every moment. It was like, like, whoa, what's going on? Like, look at when they played Melbourne recently. Like, and then that's who Canberra play. Like, then you've got to go. Then you've got to go to Canberra, and who are fresh.
Who were extremely fresh as well. And Ricky Stewart spoke about this in the buys. They had 3 buys in the last 12 rounds of the season, whatever the number was. That's going to freshen them up. Then they now will be rested this weekend.
They're going to get freshen up this week.
Then they win week 1. These guys are going to be an incredible. Nick.
They are.
They're going to make the grand final, Canberra. If they don't make the grand final, it's going to take an incredible effort by someone to go down there and beat them in Canberra.
Well, it's going to be one of Storm, Dogs, or Penrith.
Yeah. And then they could have the Broncos in week 1. Who knows? But I think Cronulla probably end up in that 4th spot.
Who's in 4th now?
The Broncos.
Do you know, I could see 4th. I could see Broncos, Sharks, and Warriors all losing this week.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the Broncos hang on. I can as well.
And the Broncos hold
Remember,
on.
it's Daly Chervin's farewell game at Brookvale Oval, and that's gonna be a sellout.
To be honest, mate, the Warriors, I have no faith in them coming over and beating Manly. Manly have nothing to play for, but I just can't see them. In fact,
mate, the Warriors are done.
You know when the Warriors were at their best, when they actually felt like they needed to turn on.
Yeah. But mate,
and they had some runaway tries again. Well, I know we're going to talk about that later, but I think the Warriors are gone. Sorry for all our disgruntled fans.
Oh, you'll get so many messages. The Warriors fans love the passion. But if you like,
very
biased.
Very defensive. Hey, I'm tight. Yeah. No, like, go back and clip up all me being defensive of the Dogs. I get that. And I love, and you know what? I love it.
Yeah, same.
If someone comes after my team, I'm going to come after you as well.
Yeah.
So
best fan base anyway in the NRL, like in terms of noise that make I was lucky enough to go to Auckland a few weeks ago. It was insane, the atmosphere. But they're done. Yeah,
they are. But the Raiders, mate, when you look at their path to finals, that week 3 for them is the one that they won't be jumping ahead, but week 3 is going to be huge.
Yeah, it's going to be
huge. That is the harder side. They get no easier game, but a preferred game week 1, whoever they play, if it's the Sharks, the Broncos, or the Warriors. But week 3 for them, that is, you got to get ready for.
Yeah, I feel for the Dogs, mate. Wow, the Dogs, their path now has become so tough. Their only hope of making the grand final is winning week 1 against Melbourne. And they were close with them not long ago, but that's their only hope.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that, but
so this is their path, Jimmy. So if they don't beat the Melbourne Storm, they're going to probably play Penrith and then play Canberra in all likelihood.
Yeah, that's a tough ask.
Yeah, and then you go to the grand final with you, and you probably got Melbourne on. You got to win week 1.
Of course.
And they're a chance of winning, of course.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up resting though, because it's actually the message of the week again this time round. It's got people fired up, and Glenn Hicks has emailed this in with a question around resting players. Jimmy, how do you feel about players resting when it comes to potentially giving the Dolphins an easy 2 points and a position in the finals? If the Roosters lose on Friday night, I know Canberra have earned the right, but in that case, it is directly influencing positions in the finals. Just wondering your thoughts.
Look, the issue of resting players, because we don't have a first past the post system, because we have a final system, and because of the time pressure of our game, and we compare it to the AFL, which don't have a representative season out. They have their regular rounds, then they have their finals, so they have the luxury in affording all the participants of the 8 that week off. They get that. We don't, because we have the time pressure of a representative international fixtures, which is a benefit to our game. Because we have a playoff system, we are always going to have teams electing to rest players. And you know what? Sometimes you get the benefit of that. Sometimes you don't. In terms of, if Souths beat the Roosters, then the Dolphins get in. Well, you know what? It is unlucky. If you're not playing finals because one team decided to rest, it is a little bit unlucky on you. And there is a solution. Win more games.
Yeah.
There's problem solved.
Yeah.
Win more games.
Yeah.
And this argument about, we were on radio yesterday, and Ben Dobbin brought up the fact that a Penrith fan had got in touch, and this individual family or 4 or 5 fans that have made this trip to come and watch them against the Dogs in round 26. Well, you know what? There's a couple of things. You kind of know that there's a culture of resting in the NRL at rounds 26 and 27. And look, I feel for those fans that don't get to watch their stars play live. But what about the fans that are there each and every week? That maybe when they go to a playoff game, and if they were to lose, those fans would go, you know what, we probably should have rested. What about me? We should have rested. You can't start looking after or your approach be around like the Penrith approach, the Bulldogs approach, the Storm approach, the Dolphins approach, the Raiders approach is to win the premiership.
Yeah.
That's it. That is it. Look, get peak performance in the finals by any means necessary. There will be times throughout this year where the players will have been overloaded at training which is designed for peak performance at the back end. You can't expect players to be at their peak for 24 rounds of football each and every year. It doesn't work like that. How many times in commentary do we say, oh, this is a finals-like game, a finals-like intensity? So what does that imply? It implies that players, teams are peaking performance when it really matters. You cannot replicate that.
No.
And I understand the broadcasters' frustration, that some fans and the whole argument, like look at the TV numbers. Look, our newsflash. Clubs don't really care about that. They care about the money that they get. But if it's one round of football, from teams. Like, steady down, steady on, because what is around the corner? We've just spoken about these matchups that we're building hypothetically that are a reality of happening. Everyone will tune in.
Yeah. On the broadcasters, there's a solution. Don't schedule Bulldogs Penrith in round 26 because I think what you said is perfect about the culture of resting. Look at the last 4 or 5 years of Penrith's run. They've always rested in the last couple rounds of the season. So if you were banking on seeing all of their players play, don't go buy tickets for round 26, round 27. And if you're a broadcaster, be aware that, Dogs Penrith's probably one of the biggest games of the year. Yeah, we probably shouldn't put it round 26 where they could be resting.
Same with South v Roosters on round 27, which has become an annual event.
Yeah.
Same with Broncos Storm.
Mate, and they always do it, and it's like Roosters. Of course, this year we're getting lucky with Roosters.
Yeah.
Rabbitohs, it's going to have a lot on the line. Most players are going to be playing. There's not going to be any resting. But last few years, there has been resting.
Yeah.
Mate. Like, it's been shit.
So Melbourne play Brisbane. That's been a fixture for round 27 for quite a while now.
Yep.
And I think that I think it's because so many people tune in to watch Brisbane, and I think they're banking on.
They're banking on it having finals implications and it being almost a finals preview.
Yeah.
That's what they're banking on.
It's banking on that.
But the issue is Melbourne are always in a position where they can rest in the last round of the season. I think Melbourne won't rest, though, this time round, based off what Craig Bellamy said. That's all.
Well, it depends. They did elect to rest. I think there was 4 players.
4 or 5. So Coates, King, Katoa, a couple others. I reckon they'll probably rest maybe Pappenhausen. Maybe Munster, but if they're going to bring Hughes back, maybe they want to get that that spine getting some reps in.
But you know
finals.
what? Whatever Melbourne do, that's their prerogative.
Yeah.
Their prerogative isn't to make sure more people tune in or put their stars at risk. Their prerogative is winning the game on that first weekend in October.
And Raiders, it doesn't matter to them at all who comes 8th. If anything, if we want to be honest, it benefits the Raiders even more letting the Dolphins beat them and get the 8th spot and the Roosters falling out because they're in the same side of the draw. So if the Raiders got shocked in week 1, they'd rather avoid the Roosters.
Well, we're going down some deep holes here, but I'm a fan. Initially, I started out as a fan, but it doesn't. Say I'm an Everton fan, right? And when I go home to England and go watch them, like, it doesn't matter that I've travelled 10,000 kilometres not to watch them, but to be at the game.
Yeah.
Like, they don't owe me a performance.
No, of course not. I'm a massive Denver Nuggets fan. The last couple of years when we've gone to Vegas for work, I've been trying to get over to Denver to see a game. It hasn't worked out. It's been too hard, like, logistically. But there's a game I can potentially go to this year if we go to Vegas, which is Denver v Boston. And I'll be hoping that Nikola Jokic plays in that game. But if he doesn't, it is what it is. It's going to be very disappointing, but it is what it is. You have to just crack on with life.
Yes, you do. And look, the fans are the lifeblood of our sport. Like, I recognise playing at COVID without them being at the game. I encourage fans to get to as many games as possible. It's a great product on TV, but there's nothing like being there in the stadium. But this is part of the culture now. You've got to, and surely anyone that can contextualize a complex situation would have a level of acceptance and understanding of why teams choose to rest their star players at this stage of the season, if they have the luxury to do so, if there's no implication of winning the 2 points or losing the 2 points.
Yeah. There's a lot to play for in this final round. Every game has something on the line. So for Thursday, you've got the Broncos trying to get a top 4 spot, which is huge. Then you go to Friday, Manly against the Warriors. Warriors basically are fighting for a top 4 spot as well. Manly are done. But it's DCE's farewell game. It's going to be a huge night. Then you've got Roosters, Rabbitohs. Huge. Yeah. Roosters trying to steal that 8th spot. Then you go to Saturday, Dragons, Panthers.
Well, hang on, not just Roosters trying to steal that 8th spot. Yeah. There's a huge subplot in there.
It's the Cheese revenge game. It's now become Cheese v the Rabbitohs players in other ways. Yeah. It's fascinating. It's going to be a great game. I might even try to go to that game. Then you got Saturday, 3 o'clock, Dragons, Panthers. probably the least impactful game. But the Panthers win, they keep 7th spot. If they lose, they'll probably fall to 8th. Then Saturday, 5:30.
Really?
Yeah, because Roosters won. Yeah, so Roosters can leap the Panthers now. Yeah. So it depends. Penrith probably, I don't know what their plan was around resting. They probably won't be changing it based on coming 7th or 8th. But I think it's better for them to finish 7th, get the Warriors. Like, that's what you want.
But the only thing is the travel. Look, and...
Oh, yeah. So you think they'd maybe rather go to Cronulla or Brisbane?
I don't think they care.
Okay, yeah.
I honestly do not think the Panthers care. I think that the travel would be the most of their worries.
So Cronulla would maybe be their preference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Cronulla,
I reckon if they wouldn't care about the opposition, the variables would be what's gonna make them more fatigued.
Yeah.
And I don't think they care who they play.
No. Cronulla are
the
absolute
travel.
Pretenders as always, the Cronulla Sharks again.
I think they've
straight sets. They'll come 4th and they'll go bang, bang, straight sets.
They've got it in them to get a win. They've got it in them to get a win.
You know what's actually, just on Cronulla, you know what's an absolute disgrace? That they can play finals games week 1 at that stadium. They call it a stadium, Shark Stadium. It's not a stadium. It's an oval. And it's a disgrace.
It depends on who they play.
No, it is the worst ground
if they get like
I've
the
ever been
Cowboys,
to.
if they get the Cowboys, at week 1 of finals, play it at Shark Park. If they get anyone that's got a travelling fan base, or any Sydney side, they've got to go to Allianz.
Well, imagine it's Sharks Roosters at Allianz week 1. Which what it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's disgraceful.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually such a bad place. The government giving $50 million to Leichhardt Oval, but then not helping out at all for Shark Park is bizarre when you play like a few local sport events at Leichhardt Oval and like 3 NRL games and they get money. Stupid.
But sorry, just on what teams will do for this week, like obviously the Melbourne Storm one is really interesting. It was Bellamy's 600th game. They lost in a game that I think they still should have won at 10-0 up at half time. But don't fall into the trap that there'll be a reaction in terms of the picking of the team. And same with the Penrith Panthers. And I guess this little bit of backlash from certain sections of the public or media about resting people. Canberra will stick to the plan. Storm will stick to their plan. So whatever their plan was, they're not going to react to the result because they're not. They can see bigger picture. Yeah. They're not going to go, ooh, we lost to the Roosters. We need to do this. It'll be, no, we're going to. And obviously it's complex around working on combinations, but it'll be that we stick to the plan. Yeah. So if they planned with their performance staff to rest players this week, that is what they will do. Same with Penrith. If they went, we're going to take the 2 weeks off and rest players against the Dragons as well. They'll stick with that plan.
Yeah. We are going to talk more about the Storm later, but I'll just finish running through these games. So obviously, Saturday, 5:30, Titans win. They will climb off last. Dogs, Sharks. Dogs trying to get ready for finals, but it's more Sharks chasing a top 4 spot and final seedings there. Then you got the Dolphins against the Raiders. The Dolphins trying to get the 8th spot. The Dolphins, by the way, guys, they're $1.35 on Ladbrokes. They're huge favourites. So the market already is suggesting Canberra is going to forfeit that game. And then the final game of the season, should the Titans win, it's the Knights trying to not get the spoon in that final game at CommBank Stadium against Parramatta. There's something in every game.
Yeah, there is.
Like, it's unbelievable.
And that is what you want.
That's what you want.
That's what you want. You want a bit of jeopardy round 27.
Yeah. Speaking of the Knights, Buzz Rothfield dropped this on the Sunday show, and not much has been made. Like, no one seemed to pick it up or anything, but it's huge news. Willie Peters has rejected the Knights for an interview. Yeah.
Very reminiscent of Coach Serraldo when he was wooed by the Tigers and he just went, thanks, but no thanks. What that says to me is Willie Peters is one, very happy at Hull KR, doesn't want to distract from them around their premiership aspirations for this year, but also the confidence that when the right job becomes available, he knows he's confident in his ability to land that job. He knows he'll be sought after. Just like Coach Serraldo. A lot of coaches are in positions where for one reason or another, they would accept any job. But the ones that are at the actual the top of the tree in terms of being without jobs, that they know they can be patient and they can wait, because as attractive as any NRL head coaching job would be for aspiring coaches, they know that some are, potential career enders, or if you take that job and nothing comes of it, or they're looking at it and going, well, the prospect of any real turnaround soon is minimal.
Yeah, and I wonder how much is the albatross of Dylan Brown's 10-year deal, and how how much that deal is going to affect their next 10 years.
But you've got no real room to go and sign another marquee player. Obviously, you've got Kalen Ponga there, so I guess if you're looking at the Knights job, it's, well, we're working with what we've got. We've got no real ability to maneuver in the market. It's probably, if you're Knights, you're looking at a long-term project where you look at really, I look at them and go, well, what have you got going for you? And it's the region. So you connect to the fans, like you have a real connection point with the fans in the community, and you become a development club. Because they've never really been a massive recruitment club. Obviously, they got Kalen Ponga and Dylan Brown, but...
And, mate, the hunt is so rich. Yeah. Like, even Joey Tarpany, he was from that area. Like, guys like that, there'd be a team we could put together, which would be unbelievable.
So, Payne Haas is another one.
Yeah.
Like, that. So...
Latrell, to a degree, as well.
I think there's... Unfortunately, for Knights fans, is probably a level of understanding that is their best. And it might... I know they've had some troublesome years within the last 10, 20 years. And they worked their way out of that. Where they probably... when you hear people talk about losing their identity, well, that probably came with Tinkler and his millions, where they tried to buy a team, and then obviously that failed. And when things like that happen, you can neglect your development and your pathways, and maybe they're just restructuring them now, or that's where they need to focus on to become a premiership contender. I feel the Knights, it needs to be local lads playing for them, and who gets that job? Like Matty and Joey, like
they'd never do it though.
But then
their lives are too good.
I know they are. I know they have great lives, but I'd love to see them given the I'd love for those minds and those brains to be given the reins, and coupled with someone who specializes in pathway development. Yeah. And then, and even for Joey and Matty to have like their fingerprints on that development and just add that touch of class to it. It would be amazing to see the results. Like, I think look, they do an amazing job on Fox and Nine respectively, but I don't know if there's many NRL fans out there that wouldn't sit and go, I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what, like, the dream. Obviously, Benji is doing it with the Tigers. I think
everyone would love to see it.
Everyone would love to see it.
Origin is where I'd love to see them do. Like, I mean, if Lauren Daly, I think Lauren Daly's got one more year to go on his deal. It would be amazing if they would, but I don't even know if they have any interest in doing that either. Like, Matty's obviously very busy in terms of media. Like, he's got his own podcast and stuff, not only Fox, and they're both they're two of the biggest names in rugby league media.
And they'd have to go all in on it.
Yeah.
But they can always go back.
Of course, and it's only a 6-week series.
Oh, no, I'm talking about...
Oh, you're talking about doing... Mate, there's no way. There is just no way. Even Joey said it the other day when he was asked, he's like, I haven't lived in Newcastle for 20 years, 15 years. You know, he said that. Like...
So? Well, you just moved back. It's like I don't know what the rental situation is, the vacancy rates are.
It's terrible, mate.
But
Merriweather rental prices.
vacancy rates, it's like, I've not lived there for 20 years. It's like, oh, well, like imagine that being the conversation like between Peter Parr.
Yeah.
Hey, Joey, mate, I've not lived there for
But
20
mate,
years.
you know what it's like? You don't want to be
just give up.
Yeah.
Just give up. No, well, mate, we'll look after that. We'll find somewhere
Find
for
a
you
little
to
four
live.
better in Merriweather with a pool, maybe even.
Like, yeah, what do you want?
But you know, James, you know, because you had the opportunity to go into coaching and you decided not to. But
Well,
when you peered behind the curtain and saw the life, what it's like. So you don't want to do that. Maddie and Joey are the same, I suspect. Like their lives are fantastic. Doing the media is a
but
very good job.
Yeah, I know, but they've been doing it for a lot, like for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
I genuinely think it's worth that conversation, and even I know with the Tinkler thing it didn't work out, but lean into some of any heavy hitter there in that mining community that says, mate, like,
Well, what's your name, your prize?
yeah, it's
But like that, they'd need a couple million each.
well, yeah, but find it.
Yeah.
Money talks, man. Like,
Of course, yeah.
And also the fact that they would both know that if it didn't work out, they landed
They'd walk straight
not
back
too
into
dissimilar
media.
gig
Yeah, of course they would.
ASAP.
Of course they
and
would.
even yeah, and just it would be crowbar into the emotion. It's
Yeah.
like, look, that there's it. I reckon with every pundit, there's an itch around coaching.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
There's an itch there, and there's like I reckon any pundit would be lying if they didn't daydream
yeah.
or think about but what often is the roadblock is like you got to go to the bottom of the ladder, and it usually takes it would take most people the best side of 5 years of their life climbing that ladder. I guess the flexibility and the time and the pressure that you'd be inviting, but like with obviously what happened with Benji is you skip that part of the process. Now there's pros and cons to that, but with the Johns brothers, they'd be afforded they're not going, you've got to be the assistant for a year.
No.
Under
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anthony Griffin.
Yeah. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I like it. I just think
It's a
I
fantasy,
think that,
isn't it?
Yeah, it is a
fantasy.
fantasy.
Yeah.
It is a fantasy.
It probably is. But I guess the Willie Peters snub is I'm not gonna it's some people say, it's disrespectful, but it's not. It's probably a reality of the situation and the outlook of Newcastle.
And there's a job that's going to become available potentially over the summer, which is the North Queensland Cowboys job. Now, obviously, they're all saying Todd Payton's safe. They're all saying that. But there's a review happening. And who knows if Todd Payton actually survives that. For me, the Cowboys has been the worst performance by a team this season, in my opinion, given the players they have. If that job becomes available, that is a really, really attractive job. One, you're actually away from the pressure a little bit.
Yeah.
You're out of that Sydney bubble. And then also their pathways are incredible. And also you've got 4 Origin players straight away, 4 or 5 Origin players if you count Taulagi, who didn't play Origin this year.
Yeah, you've definitely got you're going to turn some heads.
Yeah. For me, that's a job that I can understand why it might be holding out.
Yeah.
That's the main one that looks like it could come up.
Or you'd make an educated guess that, right, if they don't start well, like it's on.
Yeah.
And even, I think, two coaches have gone or in a week ago. I still think next year there's a lot of coaches under a huge amount of pressure already. Like we looked at the bottom 9 and how they're all going to be excited about next year. But if they, obviously, all that bottom 9 can't get in the top 8, and the top 8 there's all strong cases for why they're going to improve.
Yeah.
Like it's on next year.
100%. Just before we move on, Joe Bolton, who's a Cull KR fan, messaged me and said, "Can you guys please stop talking about Willie Peters, mate?" And then I said, "Oh, sorry about that." And he said, "He's brilliant, mate. He's the best coach we've had in Super League, without a doubt. His attention to detail is ridiculous. We've gone from not winning a trophy in 40 years to having a chance at winning 3 in one season."
Yeah.
They love him. They love him there.
Like, I obviously the overwhelming majority of our audience is Australian that is focused on the NRL. I can't articulate just how big of a job and turnaround Willie Peters and the owner who is, you know, invested heavily in that squad. But what Willie Peters has done is beyond remarkable. Like, they were a team that were getting relegated not that long ago, and their aspirations were stay up. Like, don't finish bottom. That was it. The goal was don't finish bottom.
Yeah.
Not, and you know, let's maybe jag a cup run. Like, they're sensational.
It's awesome. Holbrook's the front runner at the moment, but also Dean Young's name's come into it now. Blake Green, thankfully, his name seems to have dropped down the list.
I mean, I don't know if thankfully it was,
thankfully for Knights fans, I just thought it was crazy. Like the attack coach getting promoted when they got the worst attack.
It did seem strange, yeah.
Instant classic, Jimmy. For me, it's the Eels Warriors. I think that was game of the round. I loved it. I've loved watching Parramatta play this last 6-7 games. Obviously, all thanks to Classic as well. You can become a Classic VIP member.
Link in the bio.
Links in the bio. Yep.
It's not just about NRL, internationals, Super Rugby. It's all like the community stuff is sensational. The work that they do at Classic, and we are desperately close. I'm a bit antsy about this. I want to get them.
So they've arrived almost at the factory, and then they're going to be delivered to us.
I'm a bit
but
antsy.
I've had to give them my delivery address in the last 2-3 days.
Okay, that's good.
So we should be expecting any moment now. We've even drafted up the pictures. Like, it's gonna, you guys are gonna like it. You guys are gonna like it. It's very limited though. I will say we've been talking for a while, but there's only very limited stock.
Yeah.
So you want to sort of get in as quick as you can because it's gonna go quickly.
It is.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And thanks to Classic as well for getting on board with us for that. It's been a lot of fun. They're great partners, great to work with.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun with them. But yeah, our instant, you know, I enjoyed the design process as well. It was kind of cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Our instant classic. It has to be that Warriors para game.
Are Parramatta the form team in the comp almost?
I think people
4 from 6.
I think people are saying that. Yeah, that 4 from 6 says yes, they're getting some wins. Mitchell Moses, what a player.
Isaiah Yongi, what a player.
Yongi, yeah.
That try he scored where he burnt the fullback, unbelievable.
That was class. Junior Borlo, nice little offload. He's been playing well this year as well.
Yeah, well, him and Josh Papali'i are the two like guys who everyone sort of thought they were washed and done, and then they've gone, nah, we're not. We're actually just still playing at a very elite level.
I think Junior Borlo, I think Riles would have arrived at the club and that he would have been on the fence about him because he's paid really well. And he was probably in that category of player like Campbell Gillard, like Lane, like Cartwright, like Matheson, and a few other forwards where he probably would have had question marks around. Like, are you going to buy in? But Junior Borlo's been amazing.
And he's slimmed right down, dropped 10 kilos. He's adjusted his body to the more modern game, and he's done a great job. Yeah,
he has. And a lot of controversy around this Parramatta Warriors game. For me, it was clear that there was a knock-on. Sorry, not clear, but when you examine the evidence, it did appear as though, and I think he admitted it, that the Warriors player,
Dimitri Valmanga,
Valmanga admitted it, that he touched it, but he felt he was facing backwards.
Cameron George, the Warriors CEO, is going to go to the NRL for a please explain, but for me, knock on
the please
every day
explain is he touched it.
He touched it and it went forward.
And it went forward.
Yeah.
And that constitutes a knock on.
Yeah.
You can go in person, Zoom, Skype, whatever you want to do, fax it to you. There's your explanation.
Yeah. What did the commentators say? Were you listening to the commentary working at Fox? Because that what created more drama? Were they against it?
I think they were puzzled by the lack of evidence, and even suggesting that the hand move because of the contact with Yongi. But I think you could clearly see the ball and the fingers move. And it's harsh because I think the Warriors, when they look back at that game, there was a lot riding on it, and they should have won. Like the 2 tries for Para to begin, Josh had a caught, like the Warriors could have scored. Then he goes 110 meters, and then another play 5 break, and Jack Williams scores like 2 or 3 plays after. Like that, it was unlucky. And then when the Warriors sort of tasted blood, they were like, right, let's go. And Halasima again, like he is something. He's different gravy. He's a different breed.
He can just make plays that other players can't. It was interesting. Andrew Webster during the week said that he doesn't, because everyone's been complaining about him not starting. He obviously came off the bench or was named on the bench. He basically said people want him to start because they want him in their super coach team.
Yeah, well,
I disagree though. I think he's just plays so well for them. Like he's such a good player.
I know, but we've got to remember. I think he's 19.
Yeah, he's baby.
Like,
yeah,
you know, he's still becoming accustomed, and he has these supernova moments. Like Webster would be across like the movement patterns and the traits, and also coming off the bench, like it's getting results. Like other people are tired, other teams are tired. Like he'll be an 80-minute back row in soon. But yeah,
you do think the Warriors are done though, don't you?
In
terms of making a finals run of any sort.
Yeah, it's hard to envisage.
Yep. Eels though, they probably look like a top 8 team next year.
As will a lot of others.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like as will most teams or fancy themselves. Like nothing changes at the Titans. People go, that's a top 8 roster. South Sydney, well, if they get everyone fit, that's a top 8 roster. There's just Tigers. Okay, well,
that's a top 8 team.
We're now in a position where we go, we're a top 8 side.
Yeah, they're building nicely.
And if the Dolphins don't make it with their injuries, there's a top 8 side.
It's going to be a good comp next year. The second Friday game, which
Cowboys, another one.
Cowboys, Cowboys should be making
Cowboys.
That.
You go, there's a top 8 side.
Roosters, Jimmy. They scored 40 points against the Melbourne Storm in the second half. There, it's the worst half Melbourne Storm has ever had during Craig Bellamy's entire career. They saved it for a 600th there. After the game, he said he was embarrassed, Craig Bellamy. But the Roosters, geez, when they get going in attack, they are so hard to stop.
Without Sam Walker as well.
Yeah.
Like James Tedesco was enormous. Mark Nawaqanitawase, incredible. Like his finish to start that second half, like gave them hope.
Yeah.
It was interesting, like listening to Coach Bellamy's press conference and looking at him. He honestly, he looked like he was in a dream or a nightmare. Like it's, you know, when you have a dream and something good's happening, like your 600th, and then you're like, oh no, why has it gone bad? I reckon he felt like he was in a lucid dream where it's like, oh, is this supposed to be a happy moment or like? And it was bizarre, like because the level of desperation and commitment that Storm showed in the first half was arguably their best. I said it on Fox at halftime. It's like, this is a message to the rest of the comp. I think Melbourne have arrived at their finals destination to be like, right, this is it was the half of football we've all been waiting for from Melbourne. Like, obviously they defended really well against the Dogs that first half too, but it was the Roosters had plenty of opportunities, and you go, oh, okay, Melbourne are on, like
premiership winning defense.
This is what the rest of the comp have been fearing for, 26 rounds, and then they just, credit to the Roosters, but like no one saw that coming. No. I was watching the game and going, even when they went to, I think 18 or 22 or 24, I'm like, oh no, they'll fire back now. Just fell in the hole. I think they completed 5 second half sets.
Yeah. Wow.
5.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. You know, someone who did predict the Roosters winning after the first half, and Jordan can attest to it because I watched the game with him. I said, Roosters will win this game, down 10-0 at halftime. That's true, isn't it?
Jordan, can you?
That's true, isn't it, Jordan?
Yeah. But he said it's going to be 18-16. I'll put the house on it.
Yeah, Roosters are going to win 18-16. And then it looked good. They went at 18-10, but then they just kept on going and going and going.
What made you make that prediction?
Just had a feeling. I just was like, I don't know. There's something there. The Victor Radley got ankle tapped, and I was like, I think the Roosters still in this, even though the Storm just played a perfect half and the Roosters still in it.
Did you call up Ladbrokes?
No,
That's probably what you should have done.
No, I should have.
Yeah.
I should have. The only thing it made me think, though, with Saval and the way he is, like, what are they doing getting DCE?
He was good, wasn't he?
He's so good,
Yeah.
Savala. First grader every day of the week.
Yeah, it's an interesting predicament. Still, what they do, and it's still up in the air. The length of deal. I think it's going to come down to the length of deal. I think Savala may be willing to have a year, but not 2. And really, Coach Robinson, he's got to be. Obviously, they got Reece Robson coming in. It's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic works with Connor Watson, who I thought again was great when he came onto the field. He has that, I guess, 14 role, but probably demands a little bit longer minutes than, waiting to come on for 20, 25 at the end of the game. And Robson's an 80-minute hooker, so... But then with Savala and DCE, like, you've got to be ruthless, and it might be... Like, who makes the cut? Like, I think DCE at his best is in. He's in, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he's
At
not
his
been
best is in like at Kangaroos DCE or Queensland Origin DCE.
Yeah,
Is that what you mean?
yeah.
Because he's not there anymore.
He's not been there for a while.
Yeah. It's a tough
But then
one.
maybe what we've got to take into account is, DC has been going through a lot this year.
Yeah.
Like, he's been like the mental toll, as straight down the barrel as DC is, and as professional as anybody wants to be. You can't deny that losing your Origin jersey and then them winning the series would knock you around mentally.
Yeah.
And prior to that, for whatever the reasons are, like, and for as emotionless as he was on that 100% footy show, like, that's got to knock you around.
Yeah.
The fact that you're not gonna be there anymore. It's got to.
Of course. But he is the one who created that situation as well to a large degree. We spoke, what I will say, we went deep in this on the Stories of the Decade, part 2.
Yes, we
That
did.
was in part 2, which was Michael Chamis, that was a lot of fun doing that. So you can go and get that now and hear a big deep dive of that whole situation. But a lot of it is of his making, Jimmy.
Yeah, yes. It's hard to know what the truth actually is, and I don't know if we'll ever get to it. But whether or not it's his own making, it's still got to be taxing.
Yeah. Another element to the Roosters, Mark Nawaqanitawase. Now, the start of the year, Peter V'landys alluded to the fact that to keep players from going to rugby, they would provide salary cap dispensation. If there was a player to use it on, it's Mark Nawaqanitawase. But because it's the Roosters,
I know.
the backlash would be so strong that it's a Roosters inside job, that it's the Roosters rorting the salary cap again. But Mark Nawaqanitawase is the kind of player you top up to keep in the game.
And there's a legitimate push there of why, it's not, you can't just go like, I'm just trying to...
Cam Murray. We need an extra couple $100,000 to keep Cam Murray, guys. Give
or
us
Payne Hassel, or Reece Wall. I mean, but like
this is genuine.
Because that's his background, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we all expect Mark to go represent the Wallabies for the 2027 World Cup.
I can understand why. I can understand why he would, and I don't even know if there's an offer that the Roosters could make to stop him from doing that, and maybe he might just do a year and then come back.
Yeah. And if you're the
But
Wallabies, you welcome him.
I don't know, would the Wallabies
Surely
want-
you welcome him with open arms just to be part of the squad. And if an athletic freak like that just brings more
Yeah.
attention to the game.
Well,
I reckon they'd want him to do 2 years, though. Get himself right.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, he's right. He's right. He's right. It is going to be interesting though because, but again, he's going to demand big money from Rugby Australia.
yeah.
Like he's probably he walks in there and his stocks are huge. And you know what he's got in his favour as well is not only like what he brings to the field, but he's going to bring eyeballs because people now are and like in terms of marketability, he'd argue. In fact, no, he would. He'd be their biggest, most marketable star. I reckon he jumps Suolihi.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
I reckon he's their most marketable star in Australia in a World Cup year.
Yeah.
They've got to make him the highest paid athlete on their roster.
But then Suolihi's on like 1.6
Yeah, it doesn't matter
or whatever he's on.
because Mark's bringing more.
Yeah.
He's bringing more eyeballs. You're not telling me that NRL fans that maybe couldn't care less about rugby, and there'll still be plenty of them. But with the home World Cup, it's like with what Mark Nawaqanitawase has done in the NRL this year, it's like I want to see more of that.
And he's a character. He can talk really well in media as well. If you watch him do interviews, he's got a big personality. He can help promote the game, help promote the World Cup. That moment where he, I don't know, the hop, skip and a chip, whatever you want to call it, that try that he scored is probably the most watched NRL moment of all time because it went viral in America as well. And with the TikTok, it got millions and millions and millions. It's probably the most watched.
Millions and millions.
Billions and billions. It's probably the most watched moment for the last 25 years even.
It was huge. But that's why. Like,
so would you do it then?
What?
Would you let Peter Volandis top up Mark Nawaqanitawase to keep him here? Yeah.
Yes. Even if he stays at the Roosters, again, the pylon would be coming, but yeah, you've got to keep him in the sport, and even again that PR battle. If it's like what it's worth to not let Rugby Australia have that.
Yeah, if I'm
Like,
polite, I'm calling the land and saying, "Hey, what's
mate,
the go with this?
give us
what can you do for us?
Yeah, what can you do for us?
Yeah, we need him
It's
in
a
this
huge
game.
PR beat, mate. That's a huge PR. Like we keep him as the NRL, so they don't have him.
Yeah. Because like the tries he scored this year, like even that flick pass, he's just a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Every single
mate,
time he touches the ball.
When you, I'm just thinking, maybe Peter Volandis goes like, "Sorry, Roosters, but we own the Perth Bears. Guess who's coming to Perth?
Yeah,
We're gonna pay him
an extra million.
1.5 to 2,
Yeah.
and he's going to Perth because again, eyeballs and star attraction. I know a lot of people are saying like people like Tino and Cam Munster. Even I heard Matt Burton. Like you tell me that Mark Nawaqanitawase going over to Perth as the franchise player at fullback isn't it? That's not spinning. Like we know Perth of, they're assembling that team from November 1. Maybe Mark is the one that they go for.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, if you're Volandis, that's probably your plays, and you're like, we are going to top them up. But we're going to top them up to the Bears.
And you know what? You call Nick Politis and say, look, it just wouldn't pass the pub test. Sorry, Nick. We're gonna have to take him off. Yeah. Mate, it like think about that when we think about these, like the star attraction, the billboard guys. Like there's not many like that. There's not many that fit that category. But you put Mark Nawaqanitawase on a billboard over in Perth with that, a lot of expats there, South Africans, English, a lot of people with rugby backgrounds. Oh, I'll watch him. Boom, show that highlight. This is what's coming. This is you, Perth. You can get ready for this. He's your man.
Yeah,
he's your marquee man. And when people might go, oh, it's an overinflation when you're paying fullback money, and then the NRL go, mate, we're going to look after you here.
Yeah. And because he's just such a highlight reel, like we live in that TikTok world now as well, where highlights is what matters as well, to a large degree. People are going to... So a lot of kids might not even watch full games. They just watch the highlights.
Yep.
That's the way we're going. And people watch the KO minis, and it's all getting more and more condensed. So those highlight players become more and more valuable from like a publicity standpoint.
A commercial point of view, a revenue point of view.
Yeah.
Like I say, like, you know, Rugby Australia are going to try and build a roster to win the World Cup. That's what they're doing, and Mark Nawaqanitawase would assist in that.
Yeah.
But that's the coaches. But then the PR battle is home World Cup, marketability. You know, they had a decent Lions talk. Sorry, well, obviously won that last one. There was one that went right down to the wire. They've just beaten
South Africa,
but
they're a chance in the Bledisloe. People are saying the Wallabies are they're on an upward trajectory at the moment.
They're starting to turn a few heads, but and in terms of marketability and stars, there'd be no one bigger than Nawaqanitawase. But get into Perth.
If we get him to Perth, that's a huge win for Perth because they need something. Because right now it's a bit of a mess. In all honesty, like we spoke about the football manager David Sharp, who they brought in, who's got mostly an AFP background. Apparently, him and Mal are great friends though, that's a positive for being head of football. And then they've got this journo as a CEO in Anthony DeSiglio. With all due respect, has no business background at all. And they've got Mal Meninga has been a head coach since 2001, and now their recruitment boss has been caught out being dodgy while at the Titans.
But I'm so confused by this. And we don't know what the evidence is, but like he'd have full knowledge of what all the deals are at Titans. Just memorize them or get your phone and like you should know.
Yeah,
you know when everyone's off contract.
It's only 30 deals to remember as well.
Or just instead of email them to yourself, just take a picture on your phone of the screen. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, Tino's on. Mate, they'd all do it. Everyone knows it. I guess
to be honest, the sad thing is it's lazy because you can just ring the managers.
It is,
and you can just put this together in post really easily.
If anything, it's lazy. Yeah. It is. It's just lazy.
Just laziness.
And it's not. It's incorrect government and it's poor form. And you'd feel aggrieved by that, but like even like let's take the Bulldogs. If Perth are coming after Matt Burton or Willie Kickout, it's like you don't need Gus Gould to email you his deal.
No,
you pretty much know.
Yeah, and
like rough and even that, all well and good. He's on this money, but what's it going to take for him to come over? Like so let's take a Tino for example. Hey, Tino, we got some inside info. You're on 1.3, so we're going to offer you 1.31.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting. Like is it? No. Well, what's it going to take for you to come over to Perth?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like it's a different. Yeah. It's a different conversation. Like
even an extra $100,000 might not get him to leave. And go to Perth. Yeah. It's not about the money necessarily. It's about the pitch.
Yeah, it is. And so some of those players that maybe need a chance. Well, we're only going to give for you to come to Perth. We're going to give you $100,000 less than what you're on.
The only part, and none of this is all alleged, by the way. There's been nothing that's been proven yet for Ezra Howe. We should say that. He's not going to get the job, though, now, which is a shame for him. I do feel for him in that scenario because he's, he's a recruitment guy. It's not the highest paid job, and I feel for him.
Yeah.
But,
he's guilty of, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, because the element in the article as well as potentially telling players to hold off on signing deal because there's this, that's a conflict of interest, of course.
Yeah, it's a conflict of interest, but it's on the Gold Coast. As soon as they know he's not going to be there anymore, see you later.
Yeah,
like it's one of those jobs that you can't. Like, so say O'Brien and Hasler, they're being like. They don't have jobs moving forward. So, they afford them the gesture of being the coach for the end of the year. And obviously maybe there's some other motives behind that as well. But if you're a recruitment guy and you've got a job somewhere else, then your club now, they put you on gardening leave.
Yeah.
See you later. Yeah. Get out of the building. Give us your laptop. Thanks, because you can't work for both.
No, of course.
Because he can't recruit for the Titans for next year or the year after.
And you know what? The Titans have come out and said they were getting rid of him anyway, even if he got the Perth Bears job.
Yeah.
Who knows? They've got a lot to work on, though. Because I didn't realise that the AFP, they've got a good NRL department as well, which that's interesting to know. At the Australian Federal Police, they've got an NRL department.
What do you mean?
Well, that's this guy's head of football's background. He's been at the AFP for most of his career.
Yeah.
And that's odd. And then you go to sports governance. You're the CEO of a doping authority. Like, what?
Yeah.
Unless I'm confused about what a head of football does, but I thought it was about building a roster, identifying what players need, creating a football setup. Like, you speak to a guy like Matt Cameron. He's a rugby league man.
Yeah.
Through and through.
Yeah. Look, I'm willing to reserve judgment until, probably, well, you'd want to see how they recruit next year and how that looks, and then obviously you want to see them play a few games.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's just do a quick things before we finish, Jimmy.
Okay,
there's a few little smaller stories.
Yeah, there is.
Jacob Kiraz out for 4 weeks. Big loss for the Dogs.
Yeah, devastated for Jake. He's obviously an influential player there. Talk of him, fighting for a spot in the Kangaroos. He will be missed, but offset, I imagine, by Tuala.
Yeah, Tuala and Kiraz. Big loss. Kiraz is a big loss.
Yeah, I know he is a huge loss. The backfield carries a big part of what the Dogs do well.
Cam Murray looks like he's going to play potentially,
and then not play for Kangaroos.
but he's ruled himself out of Kangaroo selection.
Would he do it for Origin? Would he do? But
I wonder if he's had the pressure put onto him by the club though to do this.
It shouldn't matter.
Yeah,
like if he was fit for round 14 and Origin was in between round 15 and 16, he wouldn't be allowed to do that, or he wouldn't do that. So we need to build up the international game to make it so prestigious that Cam Murray comes back and wants to be on the plane to England.
I'm sure he does want to be there though.
Well, tell his club.
Yeah,
it's interesting that so if you're I'm just thinking about the unavailable for Origin, you're not allowed to play for your club, and obviously it's
Well, no, you can be unavailable for you can be unavailable for Origin and then end up playing the weekend if you get cleared in time. But you can't get named that first week.
Yeah. I don't know. I understand it, and Murray playing one game, but yeah, like I say, I think if he was back for Origin, he'd be playing. Yeah. He wouldn't be like, I can't do that intensity. It's just everything that comes with, going on a Kangaroos tour. But if it's as prestigious as we want, or as we should look or aim to be making it, it should be right. He's played. Let's get him on the plane. And
then the wild card round, getting a bit of traction. So this is 7v10, 8v9.
They should be
the first week of finals.
10 in a 17 team competition. 10 should be nowhere near finals, and I mean nowhere near them. When it gets to 20, I think we can look at that if it gets to 20. But 17 team competition, the team that finishes 10th should be nowhere near finals. And one of the arguments for that is, oh, no, you stop all the resting. No, you do not. Because if you're 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th, you rest players. So the Dolphins, for example, when they play Canberra this week, Canberra, if they had the week off and it was wild card weekend, the first week one of finals, Canberra probably play. Dolphins go, mind you, they probably can't rest anyone because they're on the bones of their arse with their squad.
Yeah.
But they go, we're going to rest as many players as we're going to rest for wild card.
Yeah.
So it just moves the deck chairs around.
Yeah.
So it actually makes it even worse when you've got teams that are 7th, 8th, 9th, or even maybe 10th. Like who's 10th on the ladder as we speak?
Well, it's Manly. So if it ended right now, it'd be Penrith, Manly, and Roosters, Dolphins. The reason why Dolphins also wouldn't rest, they might be trying to get the home wild card match though, Jimmy.
Charlie. Well, so Manly are in 10th.
Yeah.
They can't be caught by 11th.
Tigers.
So Manly would then rest players against the Warriors. So again, we've got people go, oh, we've got these solutions, but that's what teams would do. That in fact, you could argue all Penrith would rest again. You go Penrith, Roosters, Dolphins, Seagulls, they all just rest. They just don't.
Maybe I don't think Roosters would rest. Roosters want to get the home wild card match.
Okay, the home wild, yeah, brilliant. And
it would be fun though, wouldn't it? Like two games, a double header.
It would bring again. It would require an extra week of finals football, and we are under time pressure. The season is long enough as it is, and if you're going to respect the international game, you either have to start 1 week. So the way that it's always the first weekend in October. So if we're going to keep that on, we're going to have to extend the season and start it even earlier, or maybe look to do something around that round 0 and teams play here in Australia as well. It's a great idea in theory.
The TV broadcast would love it.
Yeah, they would, but
I guess then you have to weigh it up. What would they pay for that? So what would the value that the TV broadcasters put in those 2 extra games to make it worth the NRL's while? That's what you got to ask. And if it's a couple $100 million extra,
well, how much do you sell your integrity for? Because I don't think 10th should be anywhere near the finals. And if they got on a run, like it'd be the fairy tale and it'd be great and it'd be all over the podcast and the news and everything, but really you want 10th?
Yeah.
Like
maybe
you want. Yeah, we can't.
If you want to have that week off, maybe what they could do instead. You know how the AFL did the Legends game? Maybe you could do like a podcast rugby league war where like all the big rugby league podcasts put together a 1 to 17 and then they verse each other in a double header. That's like Hello Sport v Guru, Bloke v Buy Round, Levels v someone else.
I don't think the NRL Legends could it's too dangerous. The game is.
AFL guys just did it.
Yeah, and isn't there someone with like broken ribs?
Yeah, but that's Dave Hughes, like a comedian. He broke his ribs, punctured his lung. That guy Dan Gorringe gave him a little sort of like push, and he's 6'7", like 120 kilos, and Dave Hughes is like 5'6".
Yeah, I mean, but again, by doing that, you have to extend the season.
Yeah.
If you have that week off, you have to extend the season.
Yeah.
There's no silver bullet solution for this. There isn't. No. I understand the complexity. I understand how there is a responsibility of the power brokers of the game to maximize its commercial value. But that often comes at a trade-off, and I just don't think it's a price worth paying to have 10th.
Yeah.
In a 17-team competition, haven't afforded the opportunity and the privilege to try and win the comp.
One of your great friends from rugby league, Jimmy, Elliot Whitehead, to finish the show, he's retired from rugby league. What's your favourite memory with Elliot?
Being in camp, he was just a very fun person to be around. A lot of fun. I got so much respect for Elliot, and we became great friends on tour.
Was he part of your crew on tour? Was he one of your closest friends on tour?
Yes, he was. Yeah. Very good value indeed.
What was the crew?
Myself.
Josh Hodgson?
Yeah, Hodgson was in there. Like, he'd be knocking around with like Bateman.
Yeah.
He'd be in the Bateman headlock. Him and Bateman were thick as thieves. They were looking after each other.
Right.
He looked after John Bateman, which...
That's a tough task.
He was often the guy in John Bateman's headlock. John Bateman, after like first 4 beers, amazing to be around, and then you're on edge, and then you're in his headlock, and like literally, like he gets you, and he gets very. He's a close contact, almost like you're training. Like he'd get you in there and be like, and telling you all these ideas. Come on, and he'd be the.
Can you understand him?
John Bateman?
Yeah.
Yes, but then when he's drunk he's tough one.
Yeah. Because he's getting better. He's getting better on Sam. But I remember we used to sometimes interview him on the shows and stuff, and you'd be like, every few words would sort of drop out. Like you wouldn't know. He'd sort of be making sense and then stop making sense.
But Elliot Whitehead, one of the all-time greats. Congratulations on a fantastic career.
All right. Good to see you, Jimmy.
Yeah, likewise, Charlie. I thought you were going to bring up a few things.
Well, I will actually now that you've just mentioned it. Obviously, Hyundai, great friends of the show.
Yes.
They've looked after you with a car. You claim you bought it. You claim you bought it, which is fine.
no.
But I will. But your car has been unlocked, Jimmy, for about a month, hasn't it? For about a month, it's just been unlocked. So if you see Jimmy's car, like it's unlocked, try and open it. Try and take it.
Yeah, don't do that. I thought I'd lost my keys.
Yeah.
In the car, and they were in my gym bag.
Yes, yeah,
but literally, well, obviously, it shows how much I go to the gym. That I bring my gym bag every time I get in the car. I was like, where the hell are these keys? I've been like searching in the seats, couldn't find them, and then one day the gym bag wasn't in there. Opened the car, was pressing the start button. I was like, what's going on? Like the keys are in the car.
Yeah, right.
I was actually going to take it to the car wash and say, look, sorry guys, can you find the keys as well while you clean the car? Because I was puzzled.
But that's not their job. Like I don't.
No, but I was
can't
like, oh,
drop
if
the
you,
car.
if you, no,
You'd be like,
clean,
have a look for my keys. Find the keys in there with your
no,
butt,
I
and then
wasn't
you
just going to
sort of,
say find the keys.
throw them
I was
a
going to
50 at them.
can you give it a well, I couldn't throw the keys at them.
no, you throw a $50 note.
Yeah,
And you're
no,
like, find
I'd
the keys while you're in there, lad.
Say, all right, lads, can you just give it a bit? I don't need the detail, just find the keys. But yeah, found them now, so crisis averted.
Crisis averted. The other one that's not related to you, actually. Oh, it is related to you. You know, In Excess, the band.
I know of, yeah.
So Kirk Pengilly's in the band. He's a rugby league man, fan of yours,
Oh,
and is now aware of the buy round.
all right, okay.
Yeah. So Kirk Pengilly, celebrity,
Celebrity
could be
buy
listening to
round.
this moment right now.
Yeah,
One of the great artists of our time.
brilliant. Well, anyone else who wants to listen in, let us know.
And then I loved your blow up as well from the weekend on time wasting for the HIA as well.
What happened?
You just blew up about people wasting time for HIAs, like staying on the field, slowing it down.
God, yeah. You can clearly see when someone needs to be removed. You're like, it pisses me off because it's a serious issue, like very serious issue, and I don't know, we're getting it wrong.
And the other thing is, obviously you turned 40 this week as well.
No, don't.
Okay, sorry, never mind then.
It's next week.
Never mind. Well, happy birthday for next week.
Okay, I'm sure. Riveting. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.